Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki. All right, it's Sunday. So I was thinking about this all week, like I normally do, about how to share something that's going to be relevant, right? Something that you can walk out this door, or even before you leave tonight, and maybe apply it to your life. And the fact that Gita Jayanti is coming up, and His Holiness Ramapada Swami is coming, lots of awesome, just amazing things happening at this kind of Minnesota, and in the state of Minnesota. And it's all because of you. It's all because of you. Because devotees, when we associate, we become purified. We purify each other. We're all at different stages in our devotional, our spiritual life, right? So tonight I want to talk about. So we just wrapped up chapter 9 in the Bhagavad Gita at Tuesday Night Wisdom. So anyone who doesn't know about Tuesday Night Wisdom, it's 7 to 8 p.m. It's in person and on Zoom, so you don't have any excuse unless you're working late at work. So it's 7 to 8. So please join when you can. If you can come once in a while, that's okay. It doesn't matter. You don't have to come every Tuesday. But we just wrapped up chapter 9, and so as we wrapped up chapter 9, as you know, is called the most confidential knowledge. The most confidential knowledge. Right? And the beginning of the chapter is very esoteric, and then by the end, middle to the end, it gets very practical. Right? And but I want to share a story because I know many of you probably have had the Bhagavad Gita in your home, or you grew up with the Bhagavad Gita, or you have a Bhagavad Gita at home today that you didn't have before. Or if you don't have one, you can get one. Right? Right here we have them. And very, very little investment in your spiritual life, just to have it in your home. But it's even better when you open it. So, but tonight I wanted to share, because I have a personal story to share that I hope it, and it's really, the title of tonight's talk is Before It's Too Late. Before it's too late, right? So how many people in the room, and this is a question you can answer, raise your hand, because it's nothing too personal, but how many people have made a plan in their life, right? What they want to do with their life? Come on, let's be honest, folks. You have some kind of plan, right? Whether it's a career, or to buy a house, or if you you have a HB1 and you're waiting for a green card. I mean, all these things in your plans in your life, right? And I would think everybody would raise their hand, except maybe the kids because they're too young to have a plan. Okay, but we all have a plan. But as we know, Krishna has a different plan usually, right? So you can plan and make plans, and you can plan out. Like say, I want to retire when I'm 55. Maybe you're in your 40s or 30s. But I'm going to retire when I'm 55. I'm going to work like crazy. I'm going to work 80 hours a week. I'm going to say yes to every project. And I'm going to get promoted and miss my kids growing up. Right? So I know this for a fact because I missed my kids growing up because I did that. Right? They still love me, luckily. But you can make all these plans, but in the end, really, you're not in control. Right? So I'm going to share an example recently. A good friend of mine, he had a plan. He was in the military. He did 20 years in the military, and then he got out of the military. So when he was young, he was in the military right out of high school. Then he went and became a law enforcement officer. And then he retired. He retired, I think he's 52. Right? And then his plan was he's going to retire. So he retired from the military. He's getting Lakshmi, right? He retired from the police, right? He's getting Lakshmi, right? And now he wanted to be a pilot. So he wanted to fly in the airlines, make He had some time left. He loves flying. He owns a plane. He went through all this, gained all these hours, right? And he just retired last year, right? So put this in perspective. So he's getting his hours, he's building his time, he's getting close to where he can probably get a pilot's job, right, for a smaller airline, and then build his way up to like Delta and make $250,000, $300,000 a year until they force you to retire. I think it's 65, something like that, or 62. So he can get some, more, build up his bank account. And he had all these plans. When he retires from flying, then they're going to tour the world, him and his wife. He's going to take his grandkids with, all these plans. Yep, until 8 weeks ago, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, right? And those plans changed. And now, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 6 months. They don't know. But when I see him, he doesn't look like him anymore, right? He looks like he's about 90 because he's lost so much weight. He's doing treatments. He's doing chemo. But here's an example of before it's too late, right? Before it's too late. And so he's never going to travel the world. He's never going to take his grandkids. If he's lucky, he'll have another Christmas next year, maybe. He'll have a Christmas this year, they think. Right? So, the question is, you all have plans, right? So, what's part of your plan, though? Is your spiritual life part of your plan? Or is it something that you're saying, when I retire, So traditionally, for those that are, from India or grown up in India or familiar with the whole system, is traditionally, right, you were brahmachari, you're a student for the first 25 years of your life. You go to Gurukula, and then from 25 to 50, you'll have family life. Unless you're some very pious person, you become sannyasi at age 25, and you continue, which is very rare. It's hard, right? Sex life is very powerful in the world, so that desire. So you have a family, you have a job, you put 25% for this aside for emergencies, you give so much for temple, you have so much to live on, putting away. And then at age 50, you traditionally would retire, right? And then what would you do? You take what's called monocross, so you and your wife would live together but separate. So you'd have a separate room, there would be no more personal relationships, and you'd start focusing on your spiritual life. That's what we would do at 50, right? Well, I'm behind the curve because I'm 60. But I did get engaged in Krishna consciousness seriously just before I turned 50. So subconsciously I was kind of trying to follow this. And then when you do that for 25 years, and if you're lucky enough to live till you're 75, then you take sannyas. Then the wife goes to live with the oldest son. Krishna says to Arjuna, engage your mind always in thinking of me, offer obeisances and worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Right? So in this verse it talks about, who knows who Kamsa is, right? Kamsa, right? He's the brother-in-law of, I'm having a secret moment. Yeah, Krishna's father, Vasudeva, thank you. I'm having a senior moment. Oh man, see? This is what happens in Kali Yuga. He takes his sister, he's going to kill her, but then Vasudeva convinces him, no, we'll just give you our children, but he still locks them up, right? So, but this is Kamsa, he's obsessed with Krishna. But he wants to kill him. But guess what? What's he doing? Thinking about Krishna all the time, right? Now, as we know, doing that won't get you back to Goloka Vrindavan. Kamsa went back to Vaikuntha, right? He was liberated because he was playing a role, so he could learn a lesson, right? So, but that's not the way to go back to Goloka Vrindavan or heaven, what Christians would call heaven, right? So, but the thing that does is by doing what that verse just says, right? Is to remember me, think of me always in a devotional mood. And it's super simple. if somebody like me can do it, anybody can do it. And so we know, like I talked about Ekadasi earlier, December 1st is the appearance, or the day that the Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield of Kurukshetra by Krishna to Arjuna, right? Very auspicious. And it's Ekadasi. So this Ekadasi, I know many of the people in the room, including myself, observe Ekadasi, right? So you fast from grains and beans. If you work, you can't do a full fast. You have to use some intelligence. So you might, just have some fruit or yogurt or something simple, right? But where I was thinking of Krishna, we read Bhagavad Gita that day, we chant Hare Krishna more. But in reality, all you have to do is chant Hare Krishna, right? Because in this age of, like in the previous age, with Ekadasi, literally if you read about Ekadasi in the scriptures, it says, you must stay up all night. You must not eat anything, not drink any water, and then you must do this and you must do that. That's impossible in the age of Kali. It doesn't. I don't know what. It's just, except for maybe rare souls that are, sadhus that live on the street or in caves, maybe. But even they have difficulty. So really, when it comes down to devotional service, is simple. It's about chanting this Maha Mantra. It's chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's that simple. So now during the month of Kartik, we had a 30-day challenge. If you were in the room at any of the classes for Kartik or the beginning, we said, hey, for the month of Kartik, anything you do auspicious is multiplied thousands of times. So take the 30-day challenge and say, I'm going to chant the Maha Mantra for 5 minutes every day. 10 minutes, you could chant on japa beads if you want, but commit to doing something for 30 days. And then see what the benefit is after that. So whoever took that up, I hope you still do it. Because this is devotional service, it's that simple. It's that simple in the age of Kali. You don't have to do these forced sacrifices like Nanda Maharaj, where thousands of horses and billions of dollars of gold. None of that matters in the age of Kali. What will get you out of this place is this Maha Mantra, right? It's that simple. You chant the holy name. Lord Chaitanya, who's on the right, Lord Nityananda on the left, who's Balaram in reality, and Krishna and Radha is Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna and Radha, combined in one living entity, came to this earth as Lord Chaitanya in the 15th century for a reason, to revive this chanting of the holy name, because this is the only way. He said, Hare Nama Ve Kevalam. Kalam Nasti Eva Gatur Ananta. Right? There is no other way. Right? And also he's warning us. Beware, be careful of Maya. Who knows who Maya Devi is? Right? You can raise your hand. Maya Devi, right? Maya Devi is this really topmost devotee of Krishna, and her job is to distract us with the three modes of material nature, which are ignorance, passion, and goodness, right? And our goal is to do things in the mode of goodness, because then through chanting this Maha Mantra, then we can get purified and we can transcend even goodness, right? But you have to start by chanting the Maha Mantra. Actually, it's all based on Maha Mantra. But Lord Chaitanya warns us. He says, wake up, sleeping souls, you have slept so long on the lap of the Maya Devi. Right? So she is distracting us. Oh, I want to work harder because I want to get the top of the line BMW. Or I want to, like I have a friend, a very good friend. She was an SVP at a company I worked at, and her son, they had one son, they had this beautiful home in Edina, right? So her son goes off to college. They sell this very nice home, which had in the basement, they remodeled, it had a full basketball court. Very nice. They sold that, and they bought a $4.5 million house that had 18 rooms and 6 bathrooms for 2 of them. Now, why do you think they did that? False ego, right? False ego, because they wanted to say, hey, look, I'm important, right? But in the end, guess what? Their bank balance, their house, their car, the Rolex watch on their wrist, you can't take it with you, can you? This is gone. Yeah, your kids maybe will get it, but is that a good idea? I don't know. But, so this is the thing, but before it's too late though, because I don't know about you, but I don't know my expiration date. Do you? Do you know how long you have? Will it be tonight when you're driving home and some semi-truck driver falls asleep and comes across the median and crashes your old car and you're dead? I don't know, right? But I'm not trying to be morbid, I'm just saying this is the reality, is that, we have an expiration date. I remember when I was 25, I didn't think about this stuff, right? Most people don't, right? I was like, yeah, I'm going to live forever. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I've done a lot of it, right? I missed out on a lot of stuff too, like my family, my kids growing up. But anyways, so before it's too late, it's really the theme is when are you going to choose to do just a little bit for your spiritual life? Just a tiny bit. It's that simple. Even if you listen to, the Maha Mantra there's so many wonderful kirtaneers. You put it on when you're cooking at home, right? Just start there, right? And of course, there's cow protection. That's a beautiful thing too. There's so many places you can do cow protection. That's devotional service. But for you individually, is chanting the Maha Mantra is the start and the end of it all. That is it. If you do that, and as we know, chapter 9, it says, offer me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, right? And then I will accept it. You have to offer it with devotion and love. I will accept it, and then it will be infused with spiritual energy, or mercy, what we call mercy, right? And it purifies you. So we have a whole crew of volunteer devotees who cook every Sunday for their lordships, right? During the kirtan, you saw the curtain closed. That was they're sitting back there, munching on the prasad, on the bhog, and it became prasad, right? And now it's infused with spiritual energy and mercy from Krishna. So it actually removes all karma from the food, right? Because even a living entity, a plant is a living entity, so there's karma. If you don't offer your food to Krishna, you're going to get karma. You're going to pay for it, whether it's this lifetime or the next. So this is simple. Cook for Krishna, offer it, consume it, chant the Maha Mantra. Does that sound hard? Anybody? Does that sound hard? I will tell you it is hard sometimes. And I'll leave you with this one little thing. This is Prabhupada. Prabhupada always used this to talk about. In the beginning, chanting the Maha Mantra is very painful. I can attest to it because I remember the first time I tried to sit down and chant one round on a japa mala bead, which is 108 beads. When you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Go to the next beat, you do that 108 times. And I got done, I told my wife a whole long story about how you get jaundice. But anyways, I had jaundice, and I turned yellow. Right? You become yellow, my eyes were yellow, my skin was yellow. It was scary. My liver was problems. Anyways, but one of the treatment for jaundice is sugarcane juice, right? I love sugarcane juice, by the way. And so when you drink the sugarcane juice when you have jaundice, it's bitter. When you start chanting the Maha Mantra in the beginning, it will be bitter. But it's the cure. It's the cure. It's the simple cure. So you just have to keep trying. And then eventually, boom, it happens. It happens. Because it happened to me, I remember the day. It was like, wow. It's addictive in a good way. So anyways, I'll leave you with that. So it'll be bitter in the beginning, but keep trying, right? Keep trying. But if you take one step towards Krishna because he sees your effort, then Krishna will help you. And I will warn you though, what this help means is he will start removing things from your path, to keep blocking things that will keep you from doing this. So don't be surprised if things change in your life, but they'll change for the better. So on that, we'll end the class. So thank you so much for your attention. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki. And please say a prayer for my friend. Thank you. All right.